Hello, my name is Chris Jun, and I'm an undergraduate student studying English and Psychology at McGill University. And I would love to have the opportunity to volunteer at the Elmaga School this summer. I believe my experience as a tutor, editor, and camp counselor make me a suitable candidate for this volunteering position, as it shows that I've always believed that through quality education I can make a difference in this world. I've tutored in a number of different settings, from preparing Syrian students for the TOEFL exam, to clarifying material for organic chemistry, to teaching non-native English speakers the nuances of the English language. I started tutoring with Students for Syria, which is a non-profit organization that was started at my university residence. Here we decided that we would tutor Syrian refugees at the Aslan School in Turkey and help them pass the TOEFL exam so they could have the opportunity to come and study in Canada. From my experience as a tutor, I learned the importance of effective communication and motivation to help students succeed. I still work with this organization, but now I'm a community manager who serves as the mediator between tutors and tutees. I also believe that the 2 summers I worked as a camp counselor are invaluable to my experience, as I know firsthand how to work with children. As a camp counselor, I would have to keep the children engaged, interested, and having fun. I would join them in art projects, play games with them, help them cook, and read books to them, and a number of other activities. Though I learned the most important part of working with children is to always be attentive so you know how to keep them engaged and how to direct them. As for the 2 activities that I would like to implement, I would like to implement what I call wedges, and also to have the children write their own recipes. The first is an activity I practiced in high school called Writing Every Day Generates Success. I believe this exercise builds confidence and fluency in the language, as it forces the writer to write without stopping for a few minutes. Also, the activity itself isn't too stressful, as it allows the writer to write about anything that's on their mind. The second activity comes from a personal place, because I love to cook and always enjoyed seeing the creativity in a recipe. I hope this activity will build a cultural appreciation for food, and I hope ideally that the children will be able to cook and share the recipes as well. Many of my own friendships have come from cooking and sharing food, and I hope it'll do the same for them. One strength of mine is that I'm adaptable and flexible in many different situations. As a tutor, I've always had to cater to the learning strategies of my tutees. For example, while tutoring English to a student who wanted to learn the nuances of polite English language, I had to find teaching strategies that weren't necessarily conventional, as these methods don't directly teach the nuances of polite language. Instead, I went to find material that I thought represented caring and mindful language that encompassed what I believe is polite. I introduced her to poets like Leonard Cohen and his song Anthem, and brought her the book The Giver, in which I thought the character of the giver was representative of someone I thought was kind. On the other hand, one weakness of mine is that I'm easily swayed by the demands of tutees, and sometimes lose the focus of my goal when tutoring students. Though as a community manager, I've been working on ways to improve this in the tutoring groups I oversee. I believe that the key goal of teaching is to produce improvement, and so in order to better keep track of our tutees' progress, I made an Excel sheet where each tutor will take notes of the progress the student has made and where they needed improvement. By making this sheet, I hope that this will provide a nice log of how the students have been progressing, and will give us a better idea of what to focus on from lesson to lesson. On a final note, I would only have to leave the project if anything major came up, as I understand that teaching is something that requires commitment to students. If the situation came up that I would have to leave, I will communicate in advance and effectively try my best to make the best out of the situation by getting in contact with AIESEC. Thank you for considering my application, and I hope to hear back from you soon. Bye.